The execution of Lady Jane Grey depicts the execution of a 17-year-old queen who only ruled for 9 days. These events happened on February 12, 1554. 279 years later, the French artist Paul de la Roche would paint the scene showing the young Lady Jane Grey blindfolded, looking for the block on which she will be beheaded. This violent scene has the contradictory quality of being subtly gentle. In this video, I want to look at de la Roche's masterpiece, break it down to appreciate it better, and see what we can learn from it, because there's definitely something to learn from it. By the way, the artist residency I started is looking for artists, so if you're interested to come create in the middle of nowhere in Canada for a couple of weeks for free, check out legerminal.ca. I also want to thank, as always, all the new patrons. If you want to help out, or if you want to be in the credits at the end of each video, it's extremely appreciated and the contribution can be as low as 90 cents per month. Thank you. Nobody in this composition wants to see Lady Jane Grey die. Her ladies-in-waiting can't endure the scene. John Bridges, 1st Baron Chandos, assists the girl, softly guiding her to the block. Even the executioner, as explained in the text which accompanies the painting, fell to his knees and asked her for forgiveness, which she did. There's a softness to the moment. Lady Jane Grey is being too delicate. Her dress is too white, her skin too soft for her to be cruelly killed by cutting her neck with an axe. De la Roche made his career by depicting historical paintings, extremely accurate historical paintings. If you remember, I made a video about Napoleon's propaganda and how the same scene was depicted extremely differently. The scene with the mule, the historically accurate one, was made by de la Roche. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this painting isn't propagandistic. You can accurately depict a historical scene, but still make a political statement through it. I'm not saying that this painting is political propaganda, or that de la Roche intended to defend a specific political statement, but this painting may depict a specific ideology of the time. This ideology is the one of juste milieu, a French 19th century term to promote political centrism, a response to the extremists of the time, the absolute monarchists and the Democrats. In 1830, the July monarchy was installed in France, which advocated for the juste milieu. The new king, Louis-Philippe, was a liberal king, one who would respect the parliament to try to appease the extremists on the left, but one who would still remain a king to appease the extremists on the right. The term juste milieu was also applied to the arts during that time, where you could see a reconciliation of the conservative neoclassicism and the more modern romanticism. De la Roche embodied this juste milieu, and made only 3 years into the July monarchy, the execution of Lady Jane Grey does so even more. First, and it's been pointed out before, using a beautiful young lady with the softest skin, dressed in white to symbolize purity, gently and innocently looking for her chopping block is exactly the kind of subject you'd like to depict if you wanted to discourage violence and the beheadings of monarchs, which France did. By seeing this scene in 1833, how could you not, if you're French, be reminded of the Reign of Terror, which happened only 40 years ago? When the French monarchy was toppled for the first time, between 30 and 50,000 people died, including Marie Antoinette, which de la Roche also painted. This painting screams, by calling back to the events of the French Revolution, to not stray away too far from monarchy, that the will of the people is dangerous and ruthless. But then you also remind yourself that Lady Jane Grey's reign as a queen wasn't ended by a revolution, but by a conflict of succession which ended in Mary Tudor becoming queen and executing Jane. Monarchy can also lead to bloodshed, to rigidity to cruel violence. The juste milieu is the centrist answer. Don't give too much power to the king, but don't give too much power to the people. The people can be sovereign, but not too sovereign. Obviously, the idea of the juste milieu has been criticized, and I obviously don't agree with it. I believe it to be, like most centrist theories, a way to justify authority, a way to justify the idea that some people must have more power than others. However, though I do believe that this painting defends this ideology, I can still appreciate it. I love the contradictory duality between its violence and its softness. I love the tragedy it depicts, the emotions it stirs both in the characters in the painting, but also in the audience. At the Salon of 1834, people would cry in front of this painting. This is the perfect example of a painting which, without expressly wanting to be political, is political. It depicts an ideology championed by the ruling class. And though it does have political tendencies, ramifications, and impacts, which definitely shouldn't be ignored, it can still be appreciated for what it is. An incredibly compelling story, depicted beautifully, which can tell us about the ideological context in which it was produced, but which can also reveal things about us and our own ideological paradigms. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you Axel, Roman Brandel, X-Towns, Jonathan, and all my other patrons for supporting the channel. If you also want to help out, leave a like, subscribe, and check out patreon.com/thecanvas. Thank you.